So here we are, episode 2, Chicago Bears. We'll break it down. First of all, I want to look at their team. Then we'll talk about Caleb Williams. And then we'll do the record prediction. Now, first off, not even going to talk about Caleb Williams. We're going to talk about the team that they have built around Caleb Williams. I was looking at every first-round quarterback drafted in the past 10 years. And the only one that has had a good of a situation or even close to as Caleb Williams has been Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes came in, sat behind Alex Smith, a seasoned quarterback who had Pro Bowls and playoff appearances. Andy Reid, one of the best offensive-minded coaches ever, as his quarterback. Still his coach, not his quarterback, his coach. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, two very good weapons. And all of that contributed. It wasn't the only reason he succeeded. He's obviously otherworldly talented. But that helped him at the start. And I'm telling you, this team that the Bears have built around Caleb Williams is better than the one Patrick Mahomes came into. First off, you have DeAndre Swift, who his numbers, just like Aiden Hutchinson, his numbers will tell you he's a lot better than he actually is. He sometimes really struggles to find a hole or a gap, but he did have over 1,000 yards last year. And, it's a good running back. He's above average running back. Khalil Herbert, again, pretty good season last year. 600 rushing yards. He's a good backup to DeAndre Swift. Roschon Johnson, power back. The rookie year, didn't really hear from him his rookie year. Let's see what he was up to. 300 rushing yards. More of a power back. Did do a lot in the passing game though, so he's got some potential. And then Travis Homer, former Seahawk. So was Freddie Swain. I had no clue Freddie Swain was still in the league. But Travis Homer, not really good at anything except pass protection. And now, pass protection, he is one of the best pass protecting running backs in the entire league. He just probably won't get a ton of reps in. DJ Moore, saw what he did last year. Very good. Keenan Allen. I got in an argument on Twitter the other day about Keenan Allen versus DK Metcalf. I chose side of DK Metcalf because I am a Seahawks fan. But that doesn't mean Keenan Allen is not still very good. You got your deep threat. Rome Odunze is incredible deep threat. Keenan Allen is just, he'll run some curls. You can throw some curl routes to him. And, last year, he averaged like 12 yards a reception. So, what he's telling me? He's not really running long routes. And that is backed up by his catch percent. He catches 72% of his passes. They're probably not exactly very hard passes to catch. So, the routes aren't very long. But he'll catch them and he'll get yards. Rome Odunze, being a Seahawks fan, I'm obviously not my favorite college team, but I did like and root for the Washington Huskies I was a supporter. And Rome Odunze was just incredible. He has incredible ball tracking skills. Which you actually probably won't see a ton of this year because his offensive coordinator is Shane Waldron. And we'll talk about that after I'm done going through the team. Cole Kmet. This is a pretty good... Cole Kmet, very underrated tight end. top 10 in my opinion. Gerald Everett, I wanted Gerald Everett. I like him, but when he was in Seattle, he just was not good. He dropped a lot of passes that were turned into interceptions. But I do think he is the backup tight end. He's above average, second tight end. Mercedes Lewis is like the oldest dude ever, maybe. I started watching the NFL in 2012 when I was 6, and he's one of the only players still in the league from when I started watching. Like Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, Mercedes Lewis. There might be a couple more. Probably a lot of offensive linemen, probably, but of like skill position players. Kari Blasingame, fullback, above average fullback. Braxton Jones, to be honest with you, don't really know anything about Braxton Jones. He was a rookie last year. Took him in the 5th round. Rookie 2 years ago. He started every game that he's played in. So, started every game in his career. Lets me know he's probably, at least decent. Tevin Jenkins, freak, is all I have to say about Tevin Jenkins. He is a freak. Haven't heard free coming out of college. Haven't really heard a ton of about him in the NFL. But, he starts the majority of his games. Ryan Bates, again, don't really know anything about his offensive line except Darnell Wright, who is a monster. He's incredible. 10th overall pick. At the time, seems a little bit of a reach, but offensive tackle is probably the most important position to have on your line. He started every game his rookie year, and pretty good, according to AV. The people I know is Ja'Tyre Carter, Jake Curtin, Bill Murray. Jake Curran, I think, was a Seahawk. So there was a lot of former Seahawks on this team. Yeah, Freddie Swain. We didn't really talk about any of the backup receivers. Velus Jones was talking a lot at practice. No, not at practice. I saw someone say over under 1,000 yards for Velus Jones. Over under 350 yards for Velus Jones, actually. Colin Johnson, I actually really liked him coming out of Texas, was it? Big receiver, like 6'5". Was at the Jaguars, 6'6". Was at the Jaguars, was in New York. Was out of the league. Now he's in Chicago. Kind of filling that Equanimeous St. Brown role of just big receiver that's on the depth chart. Simba Webster, he's really going to feel those leagues. Dante Pettis, I remember his last game as a 49er was against the Seahawks, and he fumbled like twice, and he got cut like the next day. That was a rough outing for him. Freddie Swain, again, another former Seahawk. He was on the Broncos last year, I think, and he had like one huge catch. Yeah, he had a 52-yard catch. Russell Wilson brought him in, a former teammate. Overall, I'd give this offense probably a B. We gave the Lions an A. Probably give this like a B to a B plus. Defense, Montez Sweat has been that guy throughout his career so far. He's going to do good things for them. Billings, don't really know anything about him. Javon Dexter, Florida defensive tackle. And that's all I got to say about that. DeMarcus Walker. DeMarcus Walker. I know who DeMarcus Walker is. He was on the Broncos, I'm pretty sure, for a little bit. But he had 7 sacks. Tennessee, 3.5 last year. You know, good, solid rotational piece. T.J. Edwards, solid. Tremaine Edmonds, pretty good. Jalen Johnson is one of the best corners in the league. Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard, 2 pretty good safeties. Tyreek Stevenson again, pretty good. This is a pretty good secondary. Carlos Santos, but actually having Velus Jones returning and not Simba Webster. It's actually pretty surprising to me. Am I thinking of a different D. Robinson? Is this the Missouri defensive end who just got drafted? No, I'm thinking this is that the DeMarcus Robinson. Who is that? Darius. Jeez Louise. And back, I found a better one with this year's rookies on him. Jared Goff, as you saw, game manager. Caleb Williams, I expect him to show flashes. I don't think he's going to be great right away, but let's get into Caleb Williams, actually. Caleb Williams, a lot of people don't like him because he paints his nails or shows too much emotion. I don't care if he paints his nails. He can do what he wants. But in the showing emotion part, you know what that shows me? It shows me that he cares about the game and doesn't like to lose, is what that shows me. You look at college, his defense was just god-awful, and he was the one keeping them in games. I think he's going to be great in the NFL. Rookie year for a quarterback. Usually not like incredible, but they can, CJ Stroud was an anomaly for a rookie season. He was incredible right off the bat. Caleb Williams, I expect to show flashes. Maybe his final stat line looks something like 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, or like 12 interceptions. That'd be a good season for Caleb Williams, I think. Do we have any other quarterbacks on here? No, Tyson Bagent, the rookie. Saw a clip of him talking on Twitter today, but I had him muted, so I actually didn't know what he said. Now we're going to talk about Shane Waldron and what I was talking about with Rome Odunze. Now, Shane Waldron was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks the last 3 years. I watched him, and I wasn't very happy with him. But I think that for a rookie quarterback, I think he's a floor raiser. I think he'll be able to put, an experienced quarterback and make him look pretty good. With Jared Goff early in his career, that's what he did. And it didn't work in Seattle because Shane Waldron is a floor raiser. You can't put Shane Waldron with like a superstar quarterback and expect it to go well. He's like a game manager of offensive coordinators, and that's what I was talking about. To the Rome Odunze point. I mean, you saw a similar situation at JSN last year. Expect Rome Odunze to have very similar numbers to these this year. Same offensive coordinator, both first-round rookie receivers. Expect Shane Waldron to throw a lot of screens to Rome Odunze, and for him not exactly to be using him right, at least for the beginning of the season. I mean, expect just oodles and oodles of screen passes thrown to Rome Odunze. Now we're going to get to the record. Week 1 against the Titans. don't really ever like betting in favor of a rookie quarterback making a debut, but the Titans aren't very good. Lost Derrick Henry, who was regressing, but he's still good. But they did get L'Jarius Sneed, and L'Jarius Sneed is probably top 15 corner. I, you know, if McDuffie didn't have that incredible Super Bowl performance, it's fair to say that the Chiefs would have kept L'Jarius Sneed and moved on from Trent McDuffie. So, I'm at a bit of a crossroads here. I don't know, really don't have any idea of who they're gonna, or if they're gonna win this game. They could. This is gonna be a close one. But I'm going to give the edge to the Bears and Caleb Williams because I think they're going to get walloped by the Texans and then the Colts. I'll talk about it more in the Colts video, but I have incredibly high expectations for Anthony Richardson this year. As long as he can just stay healthy, he will be, dare I say, an MVP candidate. And here we have next game, the Rams. I talked about in the last episode. I don't see any way they're better than what they were last year. They're only getting worse, and they're going to be pretty bad for a pretty long time because of just the money situation. They wrapped up all their money into that one Super Bowl season, and they've got some bad contracts, and it's gonna get rough for a little while in LA. But I do think they're still good enough to beat the Bears. And now here we get a stretch of winnable games. Panthers are just not, they've gotten better. They've improved since last year, but they're still not very good. Jaguars, we talked about them in the Lions episode. Trevor Lawrence has me real confused because I think he can be really good, but he's so close, but he's so far. So I think the Bears win this one, and battle of number 1 and number 2 picks. Commanders aren't, they filled up their roster with washed players, Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner. And Bobby Wagner is really, someone's view on Bobby Wagner will tell them all you really have to know about if they know ball or not. Because Bobby Wagner is still a plus run defender. He actually can defend the run pretty well for as old as he is. But he is an absolute liability in pass coverage. I'd honestly rather have Aiden Hutchinson in pass coverage than Bobby Wagner. He is the offensive see Bobby Wagner in pass coverage, and they see free meat. He is toast. He can't keep up with running backs. He can't keep up with tight ends, and he sure as hell can't keep up with receivers. Some quarterbacks he probably wouldn't be able to keep up with. Maybe even some offensive linemen if they brought him out there. I had to watch him get burnt all year last year, and he is just not the player he once was. Just sad, but how the game works. Cardinals, Kyler, Marvin Harrison. Besides that, who do they have? James Conner. Not worried about James Conner. Chicago can win that game. Same thing with this one. Drake May, I think Drake May is going to be incredible in his career, but he's throwing a Juju Smith and Jalen Polk, and what's his name? He's fast, Thornton, and those are just not the three receivers you want to be trotting out there. Packers, I think Packers are going to be pretty good this year. Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to be pretty not good this year. Talk about that later. 49ers, they're the 49ers. I think they're going to, after this season, they're going to start to decline a little bit because Purdy's going to want that big deal. Trent Williams is getting older. Ayuk is probably gone this year. It's just going to be on the decline for the 49ers pretty soon. And as a Seahawks fan, that makes me pretty happy. Again, Vikings aren't good. Seahawks are going to be very scary with Mike McDonald at the helm. And then you got the loss against the Packers, which brings them to 8-9, which I think a lot of fans of the Bears will be happy with an 8-9 record this year from the team. That puts them third in the division behind the Lions and Packers. They go 2-4 in the division. I think this is a little optimistic for the Bears, but I think it's realistic too. This could realistically happen in Chicago this year, and I cannot wait to watch Caleb Williams. And you should be excited if you're a Bears fan, and if you're just a fan of football, for Caleb Williams and where this team's going. That's all I have for the Bears. My voice is tired from recording back to back. So if I'm going to record another one, it'll probably be in a few hours. But that's what I have to say about Chicago. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe. I don't care if you didn't like it. You're going to subscribe anyway. And you watch the other ones if you want. You can watch all of them. You could watch this one. You could watch the one of your favorite team when that comes out. That's about all I have to say. See ya.